we go. I want to introduce a couple people. Fritz Monahan, who has been executive of ABC, CBS, NBC, has a pilot going for HBO now. He's going to speak first. And there's Troy Duffy, writer-director of the Boondock Saints. Also, Troy has some stuff to give out and some posters if you want them signed. Pretty cool. That they're opening October 30th in select theaters to start with around the country. So, ask the questions, guys. I want you to. All right. Cool. Okay, Playman. Hold on a sec. Okay. You got record on that?
We're filming this today so kids many generations from now can watch the tape and learn everything that you're about to learn today. Isn't that cool? You guys all right? Yeah. All right. I want to start out by reading something to you, okay? Everything is so sweet and beautiful. It really is. You stay in that moment of a sense of play, and you know it. That place where a child is. You see it in all their faces, even the ones seemingly born at the wrong time with all the wrong cars. If you get to that moment where you sigh and think to yourself, I'm going to miss all this, you are being playful and swept away by the joy that comes easy with a child. And you won't really miss all this because it's instantly replaced by something that exists at a different level. Something extraordinary that still lingers here in the eyes and smile of a child. A place you revisit in every childlike moment you experience. Sweet and beautiful, impossible to miss because it's real. It's eternal. Does anybody know who wrote that? Anybody want to take a guess? Johnny Allen Poe, Edgar Allan Poe's brother. You see, the dark side is a choice. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. Nobody's ever heard of Johnny Allen Poe. Have you? No. We've all heard about Edgar Allan Poe. Let me ask you a question. If you just spent your whole life writing and writing and writing, and nothing ever became of it, you never made a penny, and maybe nobody even ever saw your work, but you did it because it came from your heart, would that make you a happy person?
Hell yeah.
You sure about that?
Yeah.
Is that something to think about while you're learning how to write scripts and put together television show ideas? And then maybe you're going to go to Hollywood, where they might try to wear you down a little bit, but you won't quit if you really love what you do. And the only way that you can love what you do is not think about the money, not think about how many jobs you're going to get, not think about the television interviews, and not think about the women, but just think about writing every day. You got some blank pages in front of you. You're going to learn real quick that that blank paper is your enemy. But that paper came from a tree, and who doesn't love trees? So you better learn to love that paper. Sit down, you're late. For God's sakes. You just reminded me of something. A man much smarter than me, Woody Allen, once said, 90% of show business, the success, 90% of success in show business is showing up. And with that, I'd like to take roll call. Becker? Carol? Carol's not here? Carlson? I don't need to continue with this, but you get my point. Just show up, all right? Now, let's look at some of the stuff I wrote on the board. The whole story. I'm just kind of reviewing what I saw with Jeff put on your syllabus for the whole semester. And I like a lot of it, and that's the only reason I'm here is because he's a great teacher. I would go as far as to say that he is almost 100% qualified to be here teaching you people today. Now, the whole story. Stand for something. What are you going to stand for? I don't care if it's a moral issue or if it's just about love or doing the right thing. You just got to stand for something. You got to back it up, even if it's doing the wrong thing. If your main character is doing something wrong, but logically he can show you why he's driven to do it, why he was born to do it, and his heart makes him follow it, then that's a character that anybody can love and might want to see over and over again. All right, stand back and observe. Big eyes, big ears. You want to absorb the world. You know what I'm saying?
Always be listening, always be thinking. You might hear one thing, and then it might become a brand new hit show. You just don't know. And another thing I wanted to say right here is you want to learn from your mistakes. You know, let's say you do go to Hollywood. I'll give you an example. I was in Hollywood, and by the way, it's a little bit of a tough town, you know, and I'm not here today to tell you how hard it's going to be, because you already know that. And I'm not here to crush anybody's dreams, because that's really the only reason to live your life. Now, if you really want to write specifically for television, specifically episodic drama, then stick with it. You know what I'm saying? Do you? Just stick with it. Some of you are looking at me stunned right now. This is the simple stuff. It's going to get a little more complicated in a minute. When I first moved to Hollywood, I would drive around all the time going to different meetings, you know? And I remember one time getting pulled over by the Hollywood police, and he gets out of his car and he said, "Put down your hopes and step away from your dream." And I'm like, wow, this is a tough town. But I love what I do. I'll never quit. But it will wear you out. Sure, it wears you out. You might pick up a few bad habits along the way. But I love what I do. But I'm a little bit tired. Now, you might not believe this, but just last month I celebrated my 34th birthday. So is Hollywood a rough town? Maybe. I don't know. I smoke too much. I drink too much. I gamble. I never got married. I never had kids. All the money I made, I never saved a penny of it. And people said, maybe you're a screw-up. And I said, I'm not a screw-up. I'm living my life according to the Mayan calendar. Now, if the world doesn't come to an end on December 20th, 2012, then yes, you can go up to me and say, that guy's an asshole. Oh, okay, now. Series evolution. All right, listen, let me just get rid of that. Because you're here to learn, I'm here to help nurture you people. But let's pull off the nipple a little bit. Series evolution, most of you people won't even get that far. But hey man, what's wrong with selling a pilot or even an idea? You can go to Hollywood and sell an idea. You know the great thing about Hollywood is you can go there and sell somebody else's idea. And there's really no way to get sued for it. But I don't want to tell you about that stuff. But the thing is, you could just sell a pilot, man. You know how much money you make for selling a pilot? A shitload, man. And then that can get you your next gig. I sold a pilot, went to Costa Rica for 2 years, just lived there, man. Drinking pina coladas, getting rub downs from beautiful young Costa Rican women. It was nice, man. I had like 4 monkeys I was living with. But then I said, hey, you got to do something with your life. So I got back into show business, and I was working on a reality show, and I said, this is just horrifying, man. I can't do this. So then what I ended up doing is I joined the Peace Corps. And I went to a third world country with the money I had and with the money you get from the Peace Corps. We took the natives down there and we all worked together to build a casino. And I taught them how to gamble, and this way they have something to fall back on. You know, maybe become a croupier or a blackjack dealer, you know, because it's just, you know, what's that saying? You can give me a fish or you can teach me how to fish. You know what I'm saying? And then, okay, where are we now? Oh yeah, inspiration. Inspiration. Books are a good source of inspiration. The Anti-Conceptual Mind, Kierkegaardian Themes of Holistic Naturalism by Nietzsche. Great book. And as a matter of fact, in this book, Nietzsche himself says books are a great source of inspiration. So don't forget that. Here's another one. Taking God out of mathematics and putting the body back in. An essay in corporeal semiotics. Right there, page 24, it says books fuel the engine that are the creative imagination. So that's something that you might want to pick up both these books off of Amazon and check them out. All right. Let me tell you. Let me tell you briefly about a show that I'm working on now with HBO that Jeff brought up. It's called The Angry Nostril of Time, and basically it's about what gladiators do on their day off. This is what I'm talking about. What I'm saying over here, when you're thinking about your plot, just don't. You don't have to think in any point in time, any point in space. You know, gladiators, what do they do on their day off, man? They got problems, they got families. And there's also a vampire in this Angry Nostril Time show. And that's just, yeah, me selling out a little bit. Because vampires are very popular in Hollywood right now. You know that, right? Now, I haven't figured out what the vampire is going to do, if he's going to be like the head gladiator because he's lived forever and he's got all the wisdom. But they love it. It's in development. Now, another thing that you might want to think about.
Web episodes, not a bad way to get into the business, especially in this day and age. You know what I'm saying? Web episodes, you can do everything that you're supposed to do in an hour episode. You have to develop a main character that stands for something. Whether it's good or bad, he's interesting. And also the type of character that people will want to see over and over again. And it's a short form. It's like playing in the minor leagues before you get to the big show, you know, learning your craft. And you can make money. Now here's an example. I've got just a couple of titles here of web shows, and then I'll just give you a brief explanation of what they are. This one's called Hitler's Scientists Dissected the Easter Bunny, Looking for a Key Missing Gene Essential for Making All Humans Look Exactly the Same Cooking Show. Pretty much self-explanatory. Here's another one. Rampaging popsicles distributed painfully through multi-dimensions during an unexplained conscious bundling, the whole time staring in the mirror, playing with the skin on your face, coffee clash. Pretty much self-explanatory. Here's a good, we're just spitballing here. Here's a good one. Latching desperately to the belief, no, the hope, that there is some meaning to life other than an empty dream played out by a superconscious who lets you in on the dream during a moment of personal clarity, where from that point on you clearly see your undeniable, unstoppable spiral towards your own death quilt club. Self-explanatory. Are you guys writing this down? Because you got it easy right now, man. I mean, I'm glad you're here. You're here and you're getting, you're getting the foundation, something to grow on, man. I didn't have it so easy. I remember when I was 14 years old, I remember when my dad left me. Because I remember he came up and said, hey, I'm leaving. And then he said, by the way, I'm not your dad. So it really didn't hurt my feelings that much. Then I spent 8 years in a tool factory. 8 years, 120 degrees heat in the steel yard, back in Wheeling, West Virginia, thinking and dreaming and keeping my eyes and my ears open, coming up with ideas even back then. Had a back injury. To this day, it's the wrong arm. To this day, no feeling in this arm. But you're here, and I want you to work. Why aren't you writing this stuff down? What's your name?
Roberto.
Pedro?
No, Roberto.
Roberto.
Yes.
And what are you working on currently? What's your idea? What do you have now? About 8, 10 pages? Isn't that correct? That's what I saw in the syllabus? Should be up to about 8 or 10 pages?
Yes, I got it.
Okay, you're out of time! That's another thing. When you go into a meeting, man, these guys don't fuck around. You got like 2-3 minutes. I learned this. Listen, I went to a meeting at Disney, right? And I go in there and there's 5 guys in suits sitting around a big oak table. And I go, all right, guys, here's my idea. Middle finger Lena, middle finger Lena. She's just a little bigger than her sister Thumbelina. How big is she? She's this big. And then they said, get the hell out of there. And I blew it. I had 4 more things I was going to pitch to them, but I blew it. But I learned from my lesson. 10 years later, I worked for the Disney company. We've done a few cartoons with them. And right now I have in development an animated version of Frances Farmer. You all know who she is. They did a movie about her called Frances. It's a very sad story about a very tortured woman. But we're going to animate it, see what happens. You never know. All right, what else? What else did I want to get to? Hang on here 1 second. Okay, never quit. Did I tell you that? Never ever quit. You understand what I'm saying? I don't care how hard it gets. I don't care how many times you hear no, 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 no. I'm 34 years old. I've heard no 1,000,000 times. You can see it under my eyes. That's where I carry my nose. But I'm still here. It's not going to stop me. You've got to fight. I learned this a long time ago, man. I remember when I was growing up, and I was in 6th grade, maybe 5th grade, and we're standing there on the playground, on the hillside, up in the hills of Wheeling, West Virginia. We're just standing there, out on recess on the playground, and every day this old hillbilly would come walking down the street, man, and he had 2 big sacks of potatoes. And as soon as he got in our line of sight, we just started teasing him. We didn't know why. I think we did it because we were kids, and kids can be very cruel, And as soon as he got in our line of sight, we just start screaming, Ned! Ned the potato farmer! Hey, Ned! How's your taters? How's your taters? Just brutalizing this guy. And you know what? Maybe we wouldn't have done it if we'd seen the tear rolling down the face of that old scary-looking hillbilly. Or maybe we wouldn't have teased him if we'd known that Ned's wife died when she was 32 and her wooden leg spread to the rest of her body. Or maybe we would have backed off if we'd have known that Ned's only 2 sons ate each other to death when a fight broke out over a game of my blood's thinner than your blood. But here's my point. Every day, And not that he had to. 2 hours later, Ned would come walking right back up that hill to take another beating. And you know why Ned would walk right back up that hill? Does anybody know why Ned would walk right back up that hill?
Zillions.
Because Ned was heart smart. And that's the important thing here, kids. You got to take care of yourself. Take me, man. Take me. I'm a vegetarian and a cannibal. That means I only eat other vegetarians. Never mind that. I think I've told you guys too much. So let's see what we've got going. The whole story. Make sure you stand for something. Okay. Make sure that you have a lot of thought put into your plots. Make sure that main character stands for something. You understand? This is very important. I know he's been going over this. But this is the key. You can get away. You can get a second chance if you've got a strong character, because lots of other things can be fixed. But if you don't have a strong character, a strong main character, nobody is good. You're not going to pull anybody in. Forget about getting a deal. You won't even last in the meeting more than 2 minutes. And you got to get that. You got to get that. You got to get that down, man, in like 2 sentences. You can't go on and on about explaining things. Because when you go into a meeting, if you really want to sell some of this stuff, man, I'm sure it's great. Or you know what, sometimes it's going to suck and you sleep it off and you get up the next day and you go, what the hell, I'll get drunk and I'll get back to it another time. Sometimes that works good. But the thing is, get your point right away. Hollywood? Get to Hollywood any way you can. What do you people think about that? Is that what you guys want to do? Yeah? Get to Hollywood any way you can. You think that's the be-all, end-all? That's where it's all going to happen? Huh?
No.
Oh, sure. Go to Hollywood, man. You know what? And write your ideas, and you're going to find that your friends, people that you didn't even think were your friends, maybe just an acquaintance, they're going to surround you with endless support, and they're going to love everything you do. Just make sure you always know where an emergency hospital is, because you never know when you're going to have to get a knife pulled out of your back and then get stitched up before you bleed to death. But you go ahead and you make your way to Hollywood as quick as you can, all right? Because that's where it's all going to happen. That's where it came together for me, man. I made it all the way from a tool factory in Wheeling, West Virginia to Hollywood, where some days I'm a wealthy man, other days I'm a casino blowing the whole thing. But you go to Hollywood, because that's where it has to happen. Are you going to go to Hollywood?
Eventually.
Yeah? What are you going to do there? You know what, Jeff? I hate to do this, man. I hate to do this. I'm here to nurture. But maybe the other thing that I should have put up here is the wonderful world of day jobs. Something to think about. Are you prepared to work 8, 9 hours a day for shit money and then maybe still go to school and then still find the time to write? Are you prepared to do that?
I do it right now.
All right. Oh, that's good. And you should do it right now. How old are you guys? Most of what? In the early 20s? Late teens? You should have the energy then. You can do that. Look at me. I'm 30. Huh?
I'm 30.
You're 30?
Yeah.
Wow, what are you doing? Drinking human blood? Jesus Christ, you look like a teenager, kid. Get some sleep, though. That's the key. My problem is I haven't slept in 2 months. But, you know, I'm trying to come up with that one great grand idea, that one great grand thing, you know, and you never know when it's going to hit you, man. You never know when it's going to hit you, boy. I'll tell you, real drama. You want to hear about real drama, something to write about? Let me tell you a story. I got a DUI about 1.5 years ago, you know, the first one I ever got, man, and I'm standing there, and I was pissed off. You know, I'm standing there, and I'm handcuffed, I blew a .10. This is in California, and I remember when .10 used to be the legal limit, you know? But they lowered it to .08, and I'm standing there, and I go, you know what? I could be angry, I could be upset, but I'm not going to be. I just blew a .10, that's it. Go to jail for 14 hours, pay a little money, go to some drugs. Is that a student? Hang on 1 second. What do you mean? Hey, you got a lot of nerve, mister. I'm practically done. I fucking came all the way from home. Shit. Get your ass in there. Jesus Christ, tell them, class. 90% of success in Hollywood is showing up!
All right, man.
And if you think I'm going to start over for your crazy ass, you can forget about it. But these kids have been taking good notes. And if any one of them is your friend, They're lying. No, they'll let you share their notes with you, right? You look like a good kid. You share. Let me see what kind of notes you got so far. So far, it's brief. Stand for something. Show why it's right for character. Big eyes, big ears. This kid's going places, man. You got it all organized. That's what you got to do. You work from that. You know, you work out here and you bring it in here, right? And then you bring it in here and then you bring it out there. What story was I telling you? .08. .08, right. So I'm in handcuffs. And I'm thinking, you know what, I could get angry. But I didn't get angry. Because you know what, this is how I looked at it. Always look at the bright side. I said, all right, well, you got me. You got me. But you know what, I'm 10,001. They just brought down a 20-year dynasty. But you know, even the Steelers lose a game now and then. But let me tell you about a night that I did get away with it. I was at a friend's house. We'll call him a vitamin salesman. I was hanging out at a friend's house who sold vitamins with another friend of mine. Next thing you know, it's 2 in the morning. And I said to the vitamin salesman, who, by the way, said, you know, I used to be the rock drummer for, I used to be the drummer for the rock band, what's the Inagata DeVito band, man? Iron Butterfly. Yeah, he goes, I used to be the drummer for Iron Butterfly. I'm like, oh, sure. Sure, well, that's what showed how clever he was, you know. Because if he said, yeah, I used to drum with the Stones, I'd just probably go, yeah, I'm sure you did. Now, can I have some more vitamins, please? But anyhow, it's 2 o'clock, and I said, I'm going to wait till about 3 or 3:30, because all the sharks are out there around 2 o'clock. The bars are just closing, right? So I'll wait till 3:30 when it's a little safer to drive, you know, and then well, cut to 24 hours later. It's 2 o'clock again, and I'm saying, yeah, I better wait till about 3:30 before I get on the road, because all the sharks, all the cops are out there. You know what I'm talking about. But anyhow, so we get to leave, and this vitamin salesman goes, you want some acid? I'm like, sure, why not? And he pulls out 6 sugar cubes from his freezer. Some of them had dots on them, and he goes, I don't know what the dots mean. It's half dose, double dose, who the hell knows? I said, wrap that up for me. And he put a little piece of saran wrap around it, and I stuck it into my groin, you know. That way I'd have a fighting chance in case I got pulled over, all right? And we're driving down the highway, man, and something weird just started. It felt, first of all, like the highway was curling over like I was surfing. And then I just said, there are too many lanes to choose from. I'm going to get off and take the surface streets. As soon as we get off, my friend goes, did you see that cop? And I'm like, yeah, I saw that cop, man. Be cool then. Woo! Okay, I didn't see that cop. And then the cop pulls us over, and I looked at my friend. I said, they're pulling us over because you're black. I know it's wrong, but deal with it. I want to sleep over. So I rolled down my window, and the face and hands of my dead mom appeared in the form of a sand demon, like from those mummy movies. And she kissed me, and she was gone. And I looked down, and then the left foot of the cop had already been at the car, but fortunately, the rest of them wasn't there yet. That gave me time to build a story. This is what you guys have to do. Build stories. Think quick on your feet. And I turned to my friend, and I said, listen, man, just back me up here, man. I'm going to tell them that I come from a world where people live in candy and salmon swim upstream and do musicals. Then the officer comes by, and I roll down the window, and I was hit with a hush. A hush, oh man. A hush I never felt before. It felt like a hush from 1,000 pillows stacked up on the head of an unconscious figure skater. And then he said to me, driver's license, registration, proof of insurance. And I take all this stuff out, and I hand it to him, and I said, don't shake it or you'll lose the important stuff, because in my head I thought I was handing him an Etch-a-Sketch, right? So then, check this out, man. I look down, and I see this stain, man, this crystal white stain in my groin. You know, like I've been fucking a birthday cake, right? And then I said to myself, why? Why does there have to be pores everywhere? Because you know what happened? You know what happened? Those 6 or 12 hits acid leaked into my groin, right there in the old groin elevator, took the express right up to my head, and I was seriously messed up. And then the cop comes back, and you know what he says? He says, here's all your info. Get that taillight fixed, drive safe. I rolled up the window, we're driving away, going, wonder of wonder, miracle of miracle. One day he slew Goliath. That
miracle to, we get to my friend's house, and that's when it hits me. There was never anybody else in the car. What's my point? What's my point? I'll tell you my point. You replace the word fucking with humping, and you are television ready. That's just something to think about. Write it all down. I don't care anymore.
Guys, that's Bob Rubin. He's a comedian. He's one of the new leads in the Boondock Saints. He's not a teacher. Wanted to set you up a little bit. So he's one of the new leads. You go to grouptime.com.
I figured he had to be a
Yeah.
comedian. I figured.
Yeah!
Most of the stuff here on the board is bullshit, but that last story I told you really did happen. That's a scary thing. But you kids, seriously, follow your heart, follow your dream, love what you do, you'll be fine. As long as you love what you do, man, just keep riding. Jeff's a great teacher, and thanks for putting up with me, all right?